In this video, we will be going over my camera bag and everything that I carry inside it. What's up everybody, I'm Jake McHugh and this channel is all about making better videos. I do gear reviews and test videos to help you determine what gear you need to make the videos you want to achieve. If that's something that may interest you, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. To start, I don't shoot a lot of videos on the go for this channel, but I do edit more on the go when visiting or staying at places. So we will break down all the camera gear and the computer gear that I pack inside my camera bag. As always, I will have links down in the description below if you are interested in anything that I mentioned throughout the video. For starters, this bag is the Low Pro Tactical, and this is the 450 size in the first model. I got this one really cheap around Black Friday a few years back for a price that I couldn't resist, and I've been using it ever since. It opens up from the back, which is really nice because it makes it harder for thieves to pick you. And it's also nice if you're outside and you want to open it up. And if the ground's wet or muddy, your back doesn't get all dirty when you go to put it back on. It also has these really nice zippers and a pretty nice rain fly on the bottom of this if you get in a wet situation at all. Overall, I've really liked this backpack and I really haven't had any reason to replace it as of now. It really has a nice solid form to it and it doesn't give at all. And on the inside, you can customize it to your needs, which is really nice. If there's anything that I don't like about this backpack, it's that the straps could use a little bit more padding to them, but I think that this is something that they fixed in the second model. Starting off with the camera, I primarily use my Panasonic GH5 when on the go because of features like its IBIS, the 10-bit 422, and all the different frame rates like 4K 60 and 180 frames in HD. For the lens on the camera body, I have the Panasonic 12-35mm f2.8, and I have this lens on this camera body around 90% of the time, I would say. This lens gives you a full frame equivalent of 24-70mm, and with that focal range, you can use it for a lot of different things. And also, when you pair it with a camera like my GH5, which has IBIS, you get what is called dual IS, and this is really nice when shooting handheld. It also has the aperture of f2.8 like I mentioned, which is faster than your typical kit lens, and it also gives you a little bit more background separation as well. Moving on, I have these two spots here on the bottom of the backpack for carrying some other lenses, and I usually have the Tokina 11-16mm f2.8 on a speed booster for some really wide angle shots, and I also will carry the Olympus 14-150mm f4 to 5.6, and this is the Mark II model. The Olympus is my all-in-one emergency lens when I need something that basically can shoot everything when I can't change lenses, and I've also used this for some wildlife shots as well. I really don't use this lens a whole lot, but I have it in my bag just in case when needed, and I can get away with this due to the fact that it's a micro four thirds lens, and as you can see here, it's not even close in size compared to the Tokina, but it has a much larger focal length at being a 28-300mm full frame equivalent. Lastly, as you saw, I have a vintage lens in the same slot as the Olympus, and this varies between what I'm feeling for that day, but I'm usually going between the Super Takumar 50mm f1.4 or the Helios 44M4. I use vintage lenses for close-up B-roll shots and for low-light situations because of its faster aperture, and I adapt them to the Canon EF, that way I can use them with the same speed booster as my Tokina. I also can fit my little dust blower in here for my lenses in case they get dust on them. Going above the lenses, we are back in the same slot that the camera was in, and I have a few accessories that I use a lot when shooting on the go. For starters, we have the Rode VideoMicro, and I love this microphone for its price, and I like the small compact size that it still has when sitting on my camera. We also have these two cloth bags here, and these are for my batteries, and I have them in different colors for a reason. The gray is for fully charged batteries, and the red one is for batteries that are dead. And this just makes it easier to be able to tell what is charged. Now I have the camera and all these accessories in the same slot, that way I can access it through the side when walking around. And this is key due to the fact that these are the accessories that I use the most. On the top portion of the bag, I have a little bit more of an open concept, and this just helps fit a little bit more into here. For starters, we have my wireless mouse from my Macbook Pro, and then this is just tucks into a side or a corner usually. You will notice this bag here, and this is a handy cable organizer that I use to hold all my cables for charging batteries and for editing on my MacBook. On the top portion, you will see that I have all these different types of cables for my chargers and my external hard drives, and I also have this little zipper section here that I use to hold this small light in case if I ever need a splash of light, and I also have this SD card dongle for if I ever want to drop photos or videos to my iPhone. But this is getting used less and less due to the fact that camera apps are getting much better at doing this wirelessly. This bag splits in two halves, and on the bottom section we have all my chargers for my GH5 batteries and a charger from my MacBook Pro as well. In the top zipper section we have my two external hard drives, which I went over in my desk tour, and we have the Seagate 2TB portable hard drive, and we also have the Samsung T5 portable SSD, and this is the 500GB model. So all of this gear can fold and zip up into this pack, and I really love this thing because it can hold a lot of things while keeping it all organized, and it's pretty great for the price, and it's really nice quality. So if you want to check this out, I will have this link down in the description below. Next, we just have this smaller pack here, and this is just full of power cubes for charging things. Inside here, I have some 3-in-1 adapters, and I usually double these up, that way I can get the most out of one outlet. And I also have some dual USB power cubes, and I just use these as well. That way I don't have to look for so many outlets to charge everything inside this bag. From here, we have some gear that just lays in here, like this wooden grip attachment that I made, and this just adds a wooden grip to your current camera, and it doesn't get in the way of the flip out screen at all, and you don't need a cage to put it on. And I like this because it just gives you a little bit better handheld footage because you have that more stable grip, and you can easily take it off real quickly if you want to put it back in the camera bag or shoot photos. I actually made a video on how I made this, but it didn't get many views, so if you want to check that out, I will link it up in the cards and down in the description below. I also have this cheap camera strap for when I don't want to carry my camera around and need some smoother handheld shots as well. And lastly, we have some filters in these cases. I have a 77mm variable ND for my Tokina lens, since it's much bigger than my Micro Four Thirds ones. If I don't pack the Tokina, I usually don't pack the 77mm variable ND, as I have these smaller ones for my Micro Four Thirds lenses. Otherwise, I can use step-up rings from time to time as well. These really don't take up too much space, so I usually just have them packed on the side, and they fit in there pretty well. This pretty much covers the open top section of my bag, and as you can see, it can hold a lot of items, and sometimes I will actually throw in a camera flash as well if I know I'm going to be shooting photos indoors. With this bag, we have this little hidden compartment on the top lid here, and I usually have some headphones for my MacBook Pro, and I also have this SD card holder to hold some spare SD cards. And I usually don't dive into this too often due to the fact that I run two 120GB cards in my GH5. Now with the top lid design and how I have it set up, I can easily access the gear from the top and grab something when I'm in need of it, like a filter, the wooden grip setup, or a camera strap. For this flap here, when you're opening it, you have all these little zipper compartments here as well, and I have some more lens cloths here, some Allen keys for putting on quick release plates, and I also have this white card and gray card for white balancing. There's also this zipper up here, and this is for your laptop, which I have the mid 2014 MacBook Pro, and this is maxed out, and this thing's still a beast even in 2020 when using Final Cut Pro. As you can see here, I have some Velcro squares that I use for Velcroing my external hard drives to the back of my cover, and then you can just plug them into the side of the computer, and I do this when editing at a small table in public, as it saves a lot of space on the table. What I like to do when I get to the place I'm staying at is I like to take out my laptop, my mouse, and my two packs here, and this really lightens up the load, and it gives me more space. That way I can pack additional layers of clothing or throw in some snacks into the bag. On the outside of the bag, we have some straps for adding additional packs, or you can add some straps to hold on a tripod or gimbal, for example. And with the two smaller packs on the sides here, you can put your keys in, for example, but I just have some lens cloths for clearing off my screen. For my setup, I just have a small drawstring pouch here and a strap to hold in my vlogging tripod, and when I take it out, I can use the pouch as a water bottle holder as well. For my vlogging tripod, I have the Surrey 3T35, and this is a really nice tabletop tripod, and it's so much better than the GorillaPod in my opinion, because it packs smaller, is quicker to set up, and it holds up a lot better over time. So this is what is in my camera bag for 2020, and I hope you guys got something out of this video, and it inspired something for your setup. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the bell, that way you get notified when I drop future videos just like this one here. And last but not least, I will catch you guys in the next video.